Hi everyone, my name is Justin Sabo. Justin Lee Sabo, I go by when I use my writings, my music. Um, Figure I would do some videos here, kind of explaining my journey um, after my accident. I'm not here as a professional musician or some viral artist. I'm just a guy who went through something that completely changed the way my brain and my faith works. So the beginning of the story starts at my accident I had about 7 or 8 months ago. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I lose a little bit of focus because it's still hard to talk about. But um, so 7, 8 months ago, before my accident, I wasn't writing songs. In fact, I couldn't play an instrument, and I'd never sung in my life, with the exception of in the shower, and it was terrible. Um, then May 6, 2025, my car accident happened. The day was just a normal day. I went to work as a registered nurse, did my work in the morning. Afternoon, I met my wife. Actually, she was my girlfriend at the time, my fiance. We had lunch, and then I took off towards New Leipzig, North Dakota, to meet a couple, an older couple, um, to evaluate them for a health assessment for my job. Um, I was on a quiet 2-lane road, and everything, it was a nice, beautiful day out. Everything was just going fine. Then all of a sudden, I just remember opening my eyes after hearing the rumble strips on the road. Sorry. Um, my car left. My car left the highway at about 70 miles an hour. I remember seeing a road sign that I had tried to swerve and miss, but I still hit it anyways. I just remember the thought running through my head that I didn't want to get impaled by a stupid sign. So I swerved. My car hit an approach, and I rolled my car 3 times. I remember hitting that approach so hard because my car virtually didn't slow down from the highway when I hit it. It was so bone jarring. I will never forget that feeling for the rest of my life. After I hit that approach, my airbag went off. And I remember going into those rolls, the little voice in my head saying just one thing. There's only one thing I remember it saying. It was just simple. It said, "You're going to die." So I accepted my fate, let things play out. I remember my car coming to a stop on all four wheels. Afterwards, I was kind of in a daze, obviously, And just remember checking myself out to make sure that I had nothing sticking inside of me or outside of me, and I had all my fingers and toes and all that good stuff. There was a woman that wasn't too far behind me. She had stopped, thankfully, and called 911. This happened right as I was getting into Elgin, North Dakota, on my way to New Leipzig. And so she called 911 right away. My Apple iPhone automatically sensed a crash, called 911 also. She came over to the car to see how I was doing. And first thing that popped into my mind was, you need to call Courtney, my fiance. So she called Courtney for me, just told her that there had been an accident. And shortly after, EMT and emergency services arrived. As fate would have it, I was in the backyard, almost literally, of the Elgin ER, and of a nurse that was just starting her training or education for emergency services. As it would turn out, as it would turn out, I knew this nurse because I used to work with her. That was very calming to me. So I don't really remember the pain right after the accident. It looked like I had fractured my left wrist. I had a little bit of lower back pain. I just noticed some scattered blood here and there, and I don't even know where it came from, to be honest with you. But so they had transferred me to the Elgin ER immediately. Surprisingly, I was very lucid, could answer questions, and whatnot. I don't remember hitting my head. I remember it being a little sore on top of my head, but I don't ever remember hitting it. But I can tell you without a doubt that that force from hitting the approach was enough to jar anybody's brain loose. So I get into the Elgin ER, and they immediately start running tests, start an IV, all that good stuff. Obviously, negative toxicology test. I had not been drinking, had not been doing drugs or any of that sort of thing. Immediately, they got me in for a CT scan, head, neck, spine. In that moment, in the CT machine, all was quiet. After all the hustle and bustle of taking care of me, it was just a moment of serenity. So all of a sudden, everything hit me. I realized what had happened. And after multiple people telling me right after the accident I'm lucky to be alive, the tears kind of started to come. Just a few. CT scans came back negative for head trauma. I had an L1, L2 compression fracture in my back and a fractured sternum. Surprisingly, I did not fracture my left wrist, even though it definitely looked like a fracture. I think it was just trauma from the airbag going off. I remember Courtney calling while I was laying there. As soon as I heard her voice, it's like I couldn't hold it in anymore. Just started sobbing and sobbing. I was able to get a few words out to let her know I was okay. But I remember before they discharged me from the ER, trying to get up off the stretcher. First time they attempted, sorry, give me a second. First time they attempted, I got so dizzy, I had to lay back down again. After that, I was in excruciating pain. I can't even describe it. I've had kidney stones about a dozen times, and those kidney stones don't touch the kind of pain that I had. So instead of keeping me overnight, they sent me home with Courtney. I was pretty convinced they were going to send me to Bismarck, but they didn't. And I remember the struggle of just trying to get into the car. It hurt so bad to bend over and try to get into the car that I almost went back inside. So that kind of concludes the accident part of it. In the days after, I remember that, just trying to move on. I only took painkillers once or twice. It didn't really work for me, and I wasn't going to take something that didn't seem to really work in the first place. I had to rely on muscle relaxers for my back, and even then, the next 2 to 3 months was nothing but pain. I didn't even ask for any pain medications because I didn't want them. So in the few months following that, I never really got headaches, but there's a lot of fog, especially a lot of mood swings, some memory loss, stuff that doesn't show up on an x-ray. And then out of nowhere, the music started. This is kind of the day everything changed. Over the next 4 months, I wrote hundreds of songs, 566 to be exact, even though I still can't play or sing. I used AI tools to bring my lyrics to life, but every word, every story, every ounce of emotion that came out of me was straight from me and from my heart and my soul. This channel isn't about technology or numbers. It's more about what happens when faith, trauma, and creativity collide. And I'm going to be talking about how I learned to survive, heal, and find a purpose through it all. If you've ever felt broken, lost, or unsure where your light went, maybe my story can help you find a spark of your own. Thanks everybody for listening. I'll tell you more about that day and what came after in the next video. God bless.